Okay, hi everyone. I'm Tazro Ohta from Database Center for Life Science, and first I have to note that this work is supposed to be given by, presented by Hiro here from the University of Tokyo, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, so I'm here as a substitute. And the talk title is the SAPPORO workload management system that supports continuous testing of workloads. And here's the background of the system and the project. And we have a DNA data bank of Japan, DBJ in Japan, which provides a GGA, a database of the human genotype and phenotype, which is a counterpart of the NCBI's the dbGaP and the EBI's EGA. And so they accept a bunch of submissions of the huge FOSQ files, which contains the human genomic data. And so users demand an interface on top of the database to analyze the data without CUI, because the most of the users are the medical staff who are interested in extracting the information from the FOSQ data. So we needed a system that is user-friendly and also very reliable. And the most importantly, we needed a system that supported the secure data handling. So we made a concept, three concepts. The first one is that data security is most important rather than the flexibility of the system. So we created a system which don't allow users to allow their own workloads, but the administrators only can add the workloads, and the users only select the input data ID to run our workload. And the second, we wanted to reduce the cost of development, and so there are many existing workload languages, and then the many learners, and then also we have API standards. So we wanted to reuse those systems to integrate our system. And finally, we wanted to ensure the reliability of the predefined workloads. So users cannot add their workloads, so users need to know if the workload is running correctly. So this is the overview of the system. And the most important thing here is that we have three layers of the workload manager in the bottom. And the middle is the computing, and the top is the data, and all separately and connecting via the network or the API. So the workload manager in the bottom will send a request to the computing node via the GA4J's REST API, which is presented by Brian yesterday. And the computing node will fetch the workloads and the input data from the data layer, and will send the result output data to the data layer again. So the important thing is that the computing node will not store anything. So the managing workload information in the bottom, and the data is in the top. So the computing node is storing anything, not storing anything. And this is the software architecture, and we use the Docker compose to deploy the system easily. And so here again, the only administrators can register workloads in the middle of the SAPPORO service node. And the SAPPORO web node has a function that automatically checks if the registered workloads are working correctly. And this is the user interface, and the users can select the workloads predefined by the administrator of the system. And the users can put the input data, and so you can see the form which has a URL of the FOSQ, and which the users upload to the data node. And user can run the workload and then manage the status of the workload running. So that's it, and we still have some challenges, and so we wanted to test the workloads, and currently the system only checked the workload is running correct with the status code 0, but so we found that we should have much more test cases, including the output data consistency, and also the failing test cases is always failing. So here's the GitHub repository, which contains the documentation and the source code with the MIT license, and you can search for the SAPPORO workflow on GitHub or Google. Thank you very much.